Hey, what's up, y'all? It is Tony. Welcome back to my channel. So this is the very first episode of Documentary Friday in the long form version. So I don't know if you follow me on social media, Instagram specifically. On Fridays, not every Friday, I kind of do a short but sweet, no longer than 3 minutes, kind of highlight reel of the latest documentary that I've watched. The documentary that we're watching this week, or that I watched this week, that I'm going to review for y'all is Maternal Instinct. Y'all, this is by far one of the craziest documentaries that I have ever seen. And for context, I watch a ton of documentaries. I watch documentaries all the time. They're kind of like my first choice. Like, this is my go-to. If we're going to watch a movie, let's do a documentary, right? You know how you watching something, you go, oh, okay. Oh, shut up. I see. Oh, God. No. This thing just kept getting crazier and crazier. Like, huh? It was wild what was happening in this thing. So anyway, let's get right to it. The name of the documentary is Maternal Instinct, and it's about a girl named Taylor Parker. The documentary opens up with the girl driving down the freeway, headed to the hospital. She was speeding, so she got pulled over by the police, and she was speeding because she had just given birth. She was on her way to meet her husband and Idabel at the hospital so they can induce her. And she started having some cramping and felt like she needed to push, and had her baby in the car.
Yeah, my husband's up there.
Why aren't you going to St. Michael's or somewhere?
We're going to Idabel's where my doctor is. I need to get up there.
Man, I need to call LifeNet or something like that. I can't let you drive. Let me get LifeNet on the way.
So they get there, take her to the hospital. So at that point, the documentary goes backwards, and they start to tell a story about how all of this stuff happened. When I tell you I did a deep dive, baby, I done been all in the court case files. I got pages of notes because it was just so much information, and I wanted to share it with y'all because I'm telling y'all, I was like, every few seconds, I was like, oh my God. It just was mind blowing. So let's get to it. So a girl named Taylor Parker lived in Texas, met a guy named Wade Griffin at the rodeo. Cool guy. He's a country dude, not fancy, rich, any of that. He just a hardworking dude that buys pigs and sells them and whatever. She meets him at the rodeo and she's like, oh, he's cute. They start talking. They kind of hit it off. And they own, right? Taylor she's a cute girl. People love her. She's fun. He's introduced her to his parents. He's introduced her to his friends and his friends' girlfriends. And everybody's like, oh, she cool. She fit right in, because if he was working, she was working. So if he trying to get pigs in the thing, she out there helping him. She holding the door open. She was just super involved, hands-on, just in it, all in with them. Right? Turns out she comes from money. She started to give them a little bit of her background. Her grandparents, who live, a few towns over from where they are, she's going to inherit a ton of money. So at that point, she was going to inherit like $8 million. Her mother, she did not have a relationship with her mother because her mother, she said, was trying to sabotage all the time, was not happy about the fact that she was getting an inheritance. So she would always do all kinds of weird stuff to sabotage that, keep the girl from getting the money. So that gives a little context about who this girl was. She had 2 kids already from previous relationships. So that both her kids had 2 different fathers. She had the first one when she was 17, and then she had another one. She would see the little girl, she would get the little girl on the weekends, but the boy was never around. Wade's mother mentioned that even when she would be up there, she didn't really seem interested in the kids. She seemed so overly interested in Wade. Like, she was consumed with Wade. She was kind of becoming possessive, like, call me back, and, you know what I'm saying, flipping out. And he was kind of like, oh, this a lot. You're doing too much. But he was trying to be nice to her. She's been through a lot, and she lost a baby at one point. And so just, go easy on her. Cool. So he's sticking in it. She sees him pulling away, and so she starts doing things to try to keep him. The first thing she did was, his mother had a dream car that she loved. It was an Altima, limited edition Altima or something like that. And so one day the girl pulls up in this limited edition Altima, and she was like, oh, you like this car? She was like, oh my God, that's my favorite. She was like, I bought it for you. The girl gave his mother that car that she wanted. She started convincing Wade to buy all kinds of stuff. We gonna buy a house. Because he kind of easing away, but she like, nah, I got to keep this going. She went and made an offer on a $4 million property in a little small town. Where was that at? Bassett, Texas. She knew that he liked this property because he has had his eye on it, and he kind of talked to her about it. So she goes and makes an offer on the property. She made an offer $4 million. She told the realtors, I'm going to pay cash for it. I got the money because, whatever, kind of broke it down. They made the offer. The person that was selling it accepted the offer. So now they need the down payment and kind of tighten up the stuff on the contract. The attorney, there's an attorney and an accountant. He would make a call to her attorney, just say a Tuesday morning or something, or Friday morning. And the attorney will be calling him back on a Saturday at 7:00 at night, or on a Friday at 9, just these random hours. And he just like, okay, but I called you earlier today. And they're trying to get it going, trying to get all of this stuff figured out. And so they're trying to make it work. Wade's friends are like, shoot, this girl got some dough. Like, you'll be set. You can have, we can do this on the property and we can do that. The property, to give context, was 500 acres. Okay. It was 500 acres. She's still kind of feeling like, he ain't really want me. And he's kind of like, oh, we might need to do something else. You know what happens then? She gets pregnant. She tells the guy, he's like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, all right, I guess we having a baby. They set a nursery up at his house and they get it all set, because here's the thing. They weren't together very long, and she has sold him this story that her mom just did not like her and didn't want her to get any money from her inheritance and this whole thing, and convinced him, like, in order for me to get from up under her and stop going through all of this, I'm going to have to, is it possible for me to move in with you? So she moved in with the man like super fast, like moved in, not they moved in together super fast, like a couple weeks. When she figured out she was pregnant, his homeboy's wife was like, oh, she sent her homeboy's wife an ultrasound photo and was like, I'm going to have them send this photo over, because she was going to do a gender reveal for her. So they she said this office sent the picture over. When the friend got the picture, she looked at the top and she was like, this ultrasound says 2016. It's 2021 or 2022. Like, why does it say 2016? She called her back and was like, this says 2016. Is this the right? She was like, hold on, let me call the office. Call the office. She called back in 30 minutes and said, oh, they said that they had a bunch of misprints today and they're reprinting them and whatever, but that is in fact mine. But the friend is like, this something about this girl is not adding up. It's just, it's confusing me. She's telling her boyfriend, this girl is like, the longer we go and the boyfriend is getting mad, like, man, leave that alone. Why are you why are you even thinking something? She was like, I'm just saying I got a weird feeling. He like, man, leave that alone. He is happy. Just let it go. She's like, okay. But she's steady, like looking around and digging. She bought the car for the mom, like, here you go, ta-da. One day, the girl calls and says, hey, there's been a recall with the car. The dealership is going to come pick it up, and then they'll bring it back. She's like, okay, cool. When they came to pick it up, the mom told her husband, I ain't going to never see this car again. He was like, what? Why would you say that? Like, you'll see it again? She was like, nah. So after it was gone for a little bit, she called and said, hey, I was trying to see when you guys were going to be bringing the car back. How long will it take for the recall, to fix the recall? They was like, recall? There ain't a recall, it's a repo. And she was like, oh, God. Oh, Lord. They was like, nobody ever paid for the car. She's like, okay, cool. Kind of like I told you, we wasn't never getting that car back. She talking about the Mexican cartel is after her. Her mom hire somebody from the Mexican cartel to come and kill. Just all of this weird stuff. Wade is in it though, because he like, she about to have my baby. Okay, Wade. Anyway, the homegirl said the gender reveal was very, very weird. So because she was new to town, when she did the gender reveal, she didn't know a lot of people. So it was mainly like his friends and his family and all of that. And so the girl that was throwing it was like, hey, do you want to call your mom? Or you got any family that you want to come? And she was like, no, absolutely not. My mom, we do not talk about, under no circumstances invite her. Don't even call her because yada, yada, yada. And she was like, okay, whatever. She said the gender reveal was very quiet. People was like, yay, kind of confused a little bit. Like, okay, it's, nobody, she didn't have anybody from her circle at the gender reveal, but they pressed forward. So randomly, Taylor and Wade started getting these emails and texts, and they were saying, don't try to be a mother to Taylor, and she's horrible, and figured out that all of these texts that they were both getting was from Taylor's mom. Taylor's mom was like, forget that girl, don't trust her, saying all of this stuff. They like, dang, why would she be sending these? Why would she be doing that? The mom ended up doing some little something and messed up her inheritance. So conveniently, she wasn't able to buy the house anymore. She like, I can't even buy it. My mom did something and it just messed the whole thing up. So now I'm not going to get the money. No big deal. So now I'm about to be staying with you over here. Cool. Now, here's when it starts getting tricky. It was already getting tricky, but it just started to go down here. And I'll never understand this. Anyway, let me get to it. When she got pregnant, she made the announcement on Facebook. And she, was talking about her stomach, her stomach was growing and getting bigger and baby jumping and, doing all of this stuff. So she's been kind of keeping everybody up to date on Facebook. People know her on Facebook from the city that she came from before she met Wade. Y'all, why was it a girl on a documentary that said, I knew that Taylor wasn't pregnant. I knew it for sure because she had a hysterectomy. I know you lying. Wait, time out. The girl that's pregnant, that got the 2 kids, had a hysterectomy. And I ain't talking about no partial hysterectomy. And you know why I know it wasn't a partial hysterectomy? Baby, because they had the doctor on the documentary. They took the tubes, the egg, everything, the ovary, all of it, everything was gone. Whole uterus, gone. So we know for sure she's not pregnant. This girl ain't pregnant. And the part that's perplexing to me about these types of people is, that you lived another life before the one you currently living. It's people out there that know that you had a hysterectomy, right? Or did you forget that? Like, girl, she on Facebook selling it. Do you hear me? Like, and then, posting the ultrasound pictures and all of this stuff. Wild. So Taylor started doing photography and she booked a wedding with a girl named Reagan. Reagan's mom asked, where did you get Taylor from? She was like, oh, an old friend told me about her, whatever. Taylor comes to the wedding. It works out perfect. She bonds with the family. Her and the girl get really cool. They were both teenage mothers. So they kind of bonded over that and they understood each other and they just hit it off really good. Well, she gets married and then she gets pregnant again. The girl Reagan gets pregnant again. This girl Taylor, done bought fake bellies, like silicone bellies. And here's the thing. When I was pregnant, my stomach was out all the time. Like Johnny would be touching it. He would be looking at it. That's like a thing. Like your belly is your pride and joy when you're pregnant. The dude, she wouldn't even let him see her stomach. He told his homeboy, man, I ain't been with her in like 4 or 5 months. And he was like, what? What in the world?
He was like, Cody, we ain't had sex in 4 months. 4 or 5 months. I said, dude, what? Stephanie be like, look, she's skinny this day. Look here. 5 days ago, she looked like she got down 9 months pregnant.
she would be like, oh, I'm just cramping so bad. She would go in the bathroom and close the door and be in there for hours. Just very, very bizarre. Listen, I have a little bit of empathy for him because Wade, you know, when you like, it seems like especially like a country guy is out and they don't really pay attention to a lot of stuff or have a lot of information about certain subjects. I could see like a girl kind of getting over and stalling them out and whatever, but 9 whole months, you don't see her stomach and it's just, you know, I don't know. Wade, you could have figured it out. Like, you gonna see because it's your baby too, right? This is another thing that kind of, you know, although I had empathy for Wade, let me tell you what had me looking him upside his head. To be fair, she got pregnant during COVID, so it was 2020. So he could never go in the doctor's office with her. He couldn't go inside to any appointments. He couldn't go in the hospital. He couldn't do any of that. So he wasn't seeing any of the stuff, right? He was just kind of winging it and taking her word for it. And if in the event that he was about to go to a appointment or had the ability, something would happen every time. His mother, his homeboy's girlfriend was like, something about this girl is not right. The mom is trying to be nice and she's like, son, something is going on with this girl. I don't even know if she's really pregnant. And he just defending her. No, her mom is just, you know, just being delusional. And they like, okay, well, whatever. They keep it going. Her due date comes. She's overdue. She's at, I think they said, according to her due date, she was about 9 weeks over her due date. Like, baby, ain't no doctor finna let you carry no baby 2 months past your due date. Like, huh? So she trying to figure out, oh God, what I'm gonna do. Which is like, girl, you done took yourself down you could have ended this. You could have came up with something long before now. Right? Like, you could have came up with something long before now. They're gonna induce her. She told her husband they're gonna induce me at the hospital. He had a sale with some pigs, like 150 pigs. And he was like, well, I'm going to just go to the hospital with you. We can do this another day. And she said, no, that's too much money to leave on the table. You just go ahead and do that and meet me at the hospital when you're done. He goes to go sell the pigs. When he get there, the man is like, I didn't order no pigs. And he was like, yeah, you did. My wife got text from you. I just didn't feel like it was legit. So I never responded. He was like, hold on, let me show you the text. He pulled the text out and he showed this exchange between the man that was buying the pigs and his wife. And he was like, that's not my number. So now Wade is kind of like, wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. His head is starting to swirl now like, this girl done did all of this stuff. So later on, we figure out that she set the fake sale of the pigs up. Well, first of all, let me go back. It's so much information. So they get up at 2 o'clock in the morning so he can get the pigs set up to go take them to the man. She's like, you do that and then meet me over here to get the induction for them to induce me. Now, they get her computer after all of this stuff goes down and realize when he was going to go take the pigs, this chick is at home Googling how to do a Mickey Ficky C-section. She is trying to get instructions on how to do a C-section. So the guy's over there talking to the pig dude, figuring out that this pig thing, this ain't real, right? The wedding client, Reagan, that she had is at home and she knew she was going to be at home by herself. The girl Taylor knew that Reagan was going to be at home because at this point, they are really tight friends. Reagan is 34 weeks pregnant and she has a daughter that's 3. Okay? He's selling pigs. She Googling how to do a C-section. This girl went over to that girl Reagan's house and gave her a C-section. Took the baby, and that's when we get to the part where this girl is riding down the freeway with a baby from a C-section that she just did at somebody's house. Listen, I watched this documentary on a Saturday morning. My husband was kind of half asleep, in and out. He heard that. He looked at me. He was like, this girl was out of her mind. Do you hear me? A C-section? Wait a minute. When I tell you, I was just like, huh? It was the most bizarre. It's like, who thinks of this? She set up the pigs, got instructions on how to do a C-section, and went over there and did it with her 3-year-old at home. This girl's 3-year-old was at home when she did this. As this is going on, Reagan's mom, who knows Taylor well, somebody called and said, have you talked to Reagan? Called her mom. She said, no, I haven't talked to her. And he was like, well, I've been trying to call her and can't get her. The mom was like, I'm just going to go over there. The mom goes over to her daughter's house. And when she pulls up, the garage door was up. And that was like, I don't like that because her garage door is never up. She goes in the house and sees like a bloody footprint and then steps back out. But then she's like, but if she in there, I need to be able to help her, whatever. And she walks in and it's horrific. It was a horrific scene. Like, absolutely horrible scene. This girl took the baby riding down the street and was trying to convince the police that she had just had the baby. She had on like some pajama pants or something. This is how gone she was. This girl had the placenta stuffed down in her pants. The everything was attached, the cord, the placenta, everything. But when you look at her pants, it's like, girl, you ain't got no blood on your pants or nothing. So anyway, she gets to the hospital. The hospital people were like, we need to check you because you could very well be hemorrhaging. We want to make sure that you're not hemorrhaging. She was like, no, don't touch me. No. You know what I'm saying? Doing the whole act. So all of this stuff is like on body cam footage of the different police officers in the hospital, and they're trying to game plan. They was like, it's kind of weird. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Is she trying to leave?
She's going to say she's in there. Oh, well, there's two in there. One is ours. That's where's ours.
Okay. Do not let her out that door. She shows no signs. You can't check for hemorrhaging.
We're trying to get her to let us do a pelvic check, but she doesn't want to do it. And we're going to send, so they send Dr. whoever in there. Baby, Dr. such and such came out of that thing, snapping them gloves. He was like, this girl didn't just have a baby. I don't know where this baby came from.
So, it surely doesn't look like a baby came out of there. It doesn't look like she had a baby.
It doesn't?
No.
Okay.
Does not look like she had a baby there.
They trying to figure it out, so the police is like, baby, the jig is up. Give us, well, whose baby is this? It's my baby. She just all the way gone. And her story is changing, and the police has got her in a comfortable place. So he's like, making her relax. And so she's telling the story, and this girl did that girl so dirty. Like, she preyed on her. And they were talking about how at one point they canceled her appointment, and they were like, well, we'll just give you an ultrasound, for free to make up for whatever. And she was like, no, that's okay. Now, I don't know about any of the pregnant people or the people that had kids when I had kids, or just a woman that had a baby, period. I don't know about y'all, but when somebody was saying they was going to give, I'm like, I would have been having an ultrasound every day if I thought I could, just to see the baby and see what the baby was doing. So they thought that was odd. And so when they left the hospital, when somebody walked out to do something, she was just sitting outside on a bench, just kind of looking at all the women that were coming out. Like, is this going to be the one? Like, kind of like stalking in a certain kind of way women for their babies. Like, who can I get? Who can I get out of this group? So she was gone. The homeboy's girlfriend, Stephanie, could not get past, like, something about this is not, she couldn't figure out what it was. So she was calling the doctor's office. In HIPAA, you can't tell people what, they can't share anybody's medical records. But she called and she had talked to the office staff. And she said, there's a girl, I've heard it through the grapevine, that she's had a hysterectomy. I'm trying to figure out, because it's just weird. And so the lady at the office said, I couldn't tell her anything because of HIPAA. She said, all I said was, well, you should probably just follow your gut on that. Because the doctor and the office coordinator had already heard. They had already heard because he delivered the first baby. And when she had the second baby, and then she got pregnant. She got her tubes tied, and then she got pregnant in her tubes. And so it was super dangerous. She was out, and her husband and her mother made the decision that she would have a hysterectomy. So she woke up having had a hysterectomy. I can't imagine how devastating that would be. That breaks my heart to think about waking up and realizing, oh my God. But when that girl figured out she had a hysterectomy, she was like, oh no. So some kind of way, she found an aunt of the girl Taylor. And the aunt gave her Taylor's mom's number. And when she called Taylor's mom said, I've been waiting on y'all to call me. I was wondering when y'all were going to call. Girl, what? She said, yeah, Taylor been lying like that her whole life. She been lying like that forever. Why didn't you tell us, or why didn't you share that, or why didn't you let? She said, because I have Taylor's son, and she spends a lot of time with Taylor's daughter. And she said, I knew that if I told and she found out I told, she was going to take my grandkids away from me. And I just could not risk that. And I was like, I get that. I get it. Still wish you would have called me. But I get that. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, it's like, because you thinking, and have my babies, my grandbabies with your butt unsupervised? Absolutely not. So I get trying to protect that. But my God, on today, it was very, very bizarre. Me and my husband had this conversation all the time. I told him, I said, do you see the common thread? What is the common denominator in this documentary? And he look at her hair. Her hair don't seem like, I was like, no, it's not her hair. The common thread with this is every single person that's trying to tell this dude that this ain't it is a woman. All the dudes are walking around like, man, leave that alone. Man, it's no. All the women have a thing. If men listened to women and treated them as if they knew what they was talking about, they could save themselves so much grief and heartache and money loss and business. Because women be knowing. What we be knowing? Everything. And we don't know what we be knowing, but we be knowing it. Like, that's just it. We just know. When something ain't hitting, it's like, I can't really put my finger on it, but it's something that's odd. That girl was saying that something is off about this, and I cannot figure out what it is. Well, she wasn't going to never guess that this joker was out here giving C-sections and crap. But she knew that something wasn't right. Every time I look at these cases or break these cases down, or I look at a documentary case like this, what throws me off is the way the mind works, right? Because I'm thinking, had this girl been diagnosed with anything? Was she always like this? We figured out that she had always been a liar since she was little, so it wasn't that. But it's like, did she have an official diagnosis? And in the appellate case, they had a neurologist, a psychiatrist, and a social worker. The neurologist had determined that she had atrophy in the frontal and temporal areas of her brain. They asked, how would you help a patient like this, hypothetically? And he said, like I was saying before, usually these patients need very intensive treatment. Psychopharmacology, which is medication, can be helpful. Individual psychotherapy can be helpful. Usually they need like a comprehensive program, like a cognitive remediation program, and often they need supervision. And then it says, you can't rely on anything she says, can you? Because she's a pathological liar. And he says, I think you have to take that with a grain of salt. Anything she says right now, you got to take it with a grain of salt. This is the murder leap up. This is States 33. This is hundreds of pages of her trying to find a victim, her hunting at places where pregnant women are found. That's some pretty intense planning that I would think someone with these deficits you're talking about would have great difficulty. The way you're talking about Taylor Parker is how she is here. But this is the evidence. So she cannot be that dysfunctional in the frontal lobe if she is able to put together and execute a plan like this. And so it says, so she doesn't have cognitive deficits in that sense, in terms of like specific cognitive. She can plan what she's doing, what she's going to do tomorrow. She can plan things out in the future. But she has, I think what you're showing actually is evidence of that frontal lobe degeneration. Those people engage in schemes like this. When your frontal lobes don't work, an example of disinhibition, impulsivity, like it's planning illegal behavior. That's all part of frontal lobe dysfunction. So it just makes me wonder how many people are walking around with atrophy in the frontal lobe. Because the longer I go, I'm just like, something is wrong. Like something is off. Like just this. And I could be wrong, but there are certain behaviors in adults that just have me like, huh? Like it's just weird to me, right? So it just makes you wonder how many people have these types of things and are completely unaware. Now, after they got finished running down all the evidence, they was like, yeah, nah. Because that girl, she kept the lie going. She in prison lying right now. She's still making up. Yeah, so they did. I mean, she just had she was lying. And she told the police, she told me, please just take the baby and say, baby, if she was making it like the girl wanted her to have a baby. No. That ain't, she was saying, just take it and going on. I'm trying to live, right? She tried, it is the most bizarre thing. It's like, why? I'm trying to figure out, I don't know how to call that. It's just an interesting set of events. This could have been avoided. Now, granted, that boy Wade broke his neck to be in that thing. He was defending her and all of that. But it's like, because to me, it's like, okay, so you have a little bit of evidence. You don't have all the things. But just the combination of your mom saying, I don't know if she's pregnant or not, Wade. We've kind of, something about this is feeling weird. We kind of think such and such, and we heard this through the grapevine or whatever. That, the combination of that and the fact that you ain't seen this girl naked since she been pregnant, that didn't cause no red flag. Now, Wade, nah. And really, it just, once you see Wade is just a country dude, just not, I mean, he just seemed like he just not, but Wade though, dog, 4 months? You didn't get none for 4 months? And you never saw her stomach and she was going in the bathroom for hours? Child, please. Like, that's when you be like, hey, you gon', this is my baby too. That would have been tragic though, because that little plastic belly would have felt like there's something. You'd be like, huh? He would have been terrified after that. But it's just, this is the most, and it's so many details still in here that I didn't even, y'all got to go watch this. I mean, it was all kind of stuff. At one point, I think it was the same day that she was going to go get induced. why the house caught on fire, like under the house, caught on fire up or around the house. And so he putting out, she just had all kind of stuff going on. It's like, okay, so if I distract him from that, and the whole time you in here researching how to do a goddamn C-section. That is diabolical. The doctor was so mortified. He was like, she cut behind her uterus, flipped her, very graphic stuff, right? But it's like, what would make you even, I guess you would have to really be off center because the thought of it. And then, this girl took her butt to the hospital and tried to frame the girl and act like she ended up having to kill her for self-defense. Girl, out of her mind. I was dumbfounded the whole time. So it's starting to come out too that this girl, Taylor's mom, is kind of giving the same energy as that girl, Mackenzie Sharilla's mom. Like, ma'am, you are an enabler. I don't know if there was anything that she could have done before that point to stop, because it seems like a certain level of a mental breakdown or mental illness is not something like professionals are challenged with trying to make it right or come up with things to make it better. So if you just a parent, you have no clue what to do. So there's a certain level of empathy for that also, because you just don't know what to do. You just want the best for your kids. You want to love them, but yet you know that they're sick. So I understand that. Trying to figure out whether she was born like that. I really wonder whether she was born like that. It's like you just wonder. You see people operating in the world and some people are like, what are you talking about? But nobody gets a scan of their brain just for sport. No, nobody does that. Like, unless it's something, you've had something happen, you're getting severe headaches, you've been in an accident, something like that. But that's not standard operating procedure for somebody to just have a brain scan. You do that when something is going on. So it makes me wonder how many people are walking around with real things that they don't know about. And typically I think about it from the context of heart, lungs, that kind of stuff. But after reading these papers, it's like, how many people have stuff with their brains that they just are unaware of? Because why would you know that unless you've had a scan that could show, oh yeah, we really got some stuff going on. This documentary was fascinating. Because here's my thing. Okay, you done lied, and this is a giant lie. Girl, you done carried this fake baby to full term, knowing that it's people in the world that know you've had a hysterectomy, and you just keep it going. Girl, you could have faked a miscarriage 7 months ago. Like, why did you deem it necessary to keep that lie going like that? It was stuff like one morning they were supposed to be, this is not funny. One day they were supposed to be going to a doctor's appointment, and he was going to go to the doctor's appointment with her. This was like, she couldn't really get out of it no more, get out of it, taking him to the hospital. Girl, he was like, okay, so we're going to go. It's like, well, we can't go now because a bomb threat been called into the... What? You should have heard his mom at the end of the documentary. She was like, said it was a bomb threat. Yeah, it was a bomb threat. I like, you called it in. That's why it was a bomb threat. She didn't made a bomb threat. Girl. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. And now that I've seen this one, now that I know that you scan the brain and see, they need to go and pick that lady up that was in that catfish, high school catfish or whatever it's called. They need to go get her and scan her brain too. She got the same thing going on, because the way that lady was lying, it was interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm so excited. I was excited to share this full version of this documentary. It's still so much more. You need to see what these people look like. So go and watch it. It's on Netflix. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see y'all for the next one. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.